Hey everyone, I'm Lara Rashid here, and I'm currently studying computer science from Zabist in Islamabad. I'm your host today, and now I introduce our speaker, Wijdane Merioumi. She is a dedicated researcher and experienced educator, specializing in collective intelligence and innovation. With 6 years of teaching experience, she has developed innovative learning methods to support students in various fields, fostering their growth through research and analytical skills. She is a doctor in economic sciences and management from Siddi Muhammad bin Abdullah University. Her thesis titled Collective Intelligence and Dynamic in the Moroccan Tourism Sector toward the reconfiguration of the tourism offer. The case of imperial cities explored the role of collective intelligence in reshaping ecosystems, specifically the tourism industry. This work highlights her ability to bridge theory with practical application to address complex challenges. Wijdane's research contributions are well recognized through her publications, such as Fostering Innovation Through Collective Intelligence. Our literature research 2023 and Collective Intelligence and Structural Transformation is the Moroccan tourism industry during the COVID-19 pandemic. A field survey in the Marak Safi region 2023. She has also explored how open innovation can impact youth employment as demonstrated in her article. The contribution of open innovation to the professional integration of Moroccan graduates was Startup 2023. Her active participation in international conferences is demonstrated through proceedings like a bibliometric review, exploring the intersection of the Internet of Things and open innovation, underscoring her interdisciplinary approach. Wijdane also excels in training students and professionals in researching methodologies, particularly in collective data analysis using software like NVivo. She also remains committed to advancing collective intelligence and innovation to foster sustainable development and drive societal impact. Now the floor is only to the speaker and our all sessions are recorded. Thank you.
So, do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to this session on Introduction to Qualitative Analysis using NVivo software. My name is Wijdane Merioumi and I'm delighted to be here with you today. So in today's workshop, we'll explore how to leverage NVivo, a leading software tool for qualitative data analysis to enhance our research practices, whether you are dealing with interviews, focus groups, or textual documents. NVivo can help you organize, analyze, and visualize data more effectively. So qualitative research is all about digging deep into complex, nuanced human experiences, and NVivo provides the tools to make this process more efficient and insightful. Over the course of this session, you'll gain practical knowledge on setting up projects in NVivo, importing and coding data, visualizing relationship, and drawing meaningful insights. So moving to the goals and plan of today's workshop on qualitative analysis using NVivo software, let's start with what we aim to achieve in this session. By the end of today, you will understand the utility and contribution of qualitative data analysis software, particularly NVivo in research, create an NVivo project and explore its basic functionalities, and use key tools within NVivo to enhance your research workflow. So this includes importing data, coding, visualizing results, and even exporting insights. So to achieve these goals, we've broken the session into 4 case sections. So we have qualitative and quantitative approaches. We'll compare these two methodologies to understand when and why you might choose a qualitative approach over a quantitative one. In the second, qualitative data collection. So here we'll discuss the various ways qualitative data is gathered, such as interviews, focus groups, or document analysis. So we have qualitative data analysis. This will include coding, identifying themes and driving patterns using NVivo tools. And in the final, we have a demonstration of NVivo. So we'll dive into the software itself, showing you how to work with actual data within NVivo. So now let's focus on the three important keywords that form the foundation of any research process. We have data, research, and knowledge. So data is where it all begins. It's the raw material of any research process and can be categorized into two main types. Primary data, this is original data that is created or measured directly by the researcher. Examples include surveys, interviews, or observations. We have secondary data. This refers to data that already exists and has been collected by others, so such as reports, articles, or databases. Here, the researcher interprets and reanalyzes this existing data to extract new insights. Without reliable data, research lacks the foundation necessary for meaningful analysis and analysis. So research is the process of collecting reliable data and then analyzing it to uncover patterns, critiquing it to identify strengths and weakness, and interpreting it to derive conclusions. And the goal of research is to take raw data and transform it into actionable insights. Think of it as the bridge that connects data to new understanding. This step is crucial because it involves rigor, structure, and objectivity to ensure the findings are valid and reliable. The ultimate outcome of the research process is knowledge. So it represents new insights, discoveries, or understanding derived from data, a synthesis of information that contribute to a larger body of work or solves a specific problem. So this is the stage where the research findings can be shared, applied, or further developed to make an impact in the real world. So the choice to use qualitative research is guided by the nature of the subject. It's almost appropriate when we aim to understand experiences, meanings, and interaction that cannot be fully captured by numbers or standardized measurements. So exploration over measurements, unlike quantitative research, which seeks to measure and quantify, qualitative research is about uncovering deeper insights and interpretations. So the case for qualitative research, it's ideal for exploring questions like what do people behave the way they do? What are their motivations, beliefs, and values? So for example, in my research on collective intelligence in the tourism sector, qualitative methods allow me to explore how stakeholders perceive and implement collaborative strategies during a crisis. So a qualitative research shines when we deal with subjective experiences, social dynamics, or unquantifiable aspects of human behavior. So now let's dive into the key points that define a qualitative study. So this slide outlines the essential characteristic of qualitative research, highlighting what makes it distinct and valuable in exploring complex phenomena. So we have here in-depth exploration, unlike quantitative research, which focuses on numbers and statistics. Qualitative research aims for an in-depth understanding of phenomena. It explores the why and how behind behaviors, decisions, and social interactions, making it ideal for studying nuanced and subjective aspects of human experiences. We have also data collection methods. So qualitative research uses methods that allows for rich contextual data collection, such as interviews, focus groups, or observations, document analysis. So these methods are tailored to capture the depth and complexity of the topic under study. We have also text methods are tailored to capture the depth and complexity. So text and discourse analysis, it's a hallmark of qualitative research. It's focused on verbal or written text to interpret meaning and patterns. It seeks to uncover insights from the language used, the context, and the underlying assumption or the narrative present in the data. So we have also subjective approach. So qualitative research values the subjective experiences of participants and researchers. It's knowledge that every participant's perspective is unique and contribute to the broader understanding of the issue. The researcher's role is to interpret these perspectives while remaining as objective as possible. We have also research flexibility. So one of the strengths of qualitative research is flexibility. Unlike quantitative methods, which follow a rigid structure, qualitative studies adapt as the research evolves. For example, you might discover new themes or directions, might study, and adjust your approach to explore them further. So we have also team exploration. So finally, qualitative analysis focuses on identifying themes and patterns in the data rather than counting frequencies or quantifying results. For instance, in my research, so I explore themes like collaboration, crisis response, and innovation rather than relying solely on numerical data. So in this slide, it provides an overview of the different types of data and their associated research approach, helping us understand the foundational elements of both qualitative and quantitative research. So we have here data, the starting point. So data is the backbone of any research process, and it's categorized into two main types: primary data and secondary data. So let's break this down further. So in primary data is generated through first-hand collection and can follow two main approaches, quantitative and the quantitative one. So in the quantitative, we focused on numerical data and measurable variables. And so in the subcategories, it includes descriptive research and explanatory research and methods. And in qualitative analysis, we focused on exploring subjective experiences and understanding context. So in the subcategories, we find exploration. So here, qualitative research dives deep into themes, motivations, and patterns within a specific setting or group. So secondary data is derived from previously collected information and often involves. So
oh my God. Yes. Fuck. Give me money.
Can you please mute them?
Just give me my money.
So secondary data is derived from previously collected information and often involves from previous works and literature review. So secondary data plays a crucial role, especially in the early stage of research, by setting the foundation and context for primary data collection. Let's take a moment to compare qualitative and quantitative research. So two complementary approaches in the research process. This table highlights
मैडम
their
जी उर्दू में
differences.
बात करें समझ नहीं आ रही
So the objective of a qualitative research, it focuses on understanding the reasons and motivations behind behaviors, decisions, or phenomena. It seeks depth rather than breadth, exploring the why and how of a situation. So it works with a small sample size, such as few participants in interviews or focus groups. The goal is to gather rich details, insights. It collects unstructured data through methods like interviews, open-ended surveys, observations, and multimedia like audio, text, images, or video. So the data is rich, descriptive, and contextual. We have also in the data analysis, so the qualitative approach is made like the analysis is non-statistical and interpretive. It's focused on identifying patterns, themes, and narratives. Percentages and numerical values are rarely used. We have also in the results. So qualitative approach aims to develop an initial understanding or framework, often forming the basis for further exploration or hypothesis development. So the core differences between quantitative research and qualitative research, I will just answer to the question, why does this matter? So the choice between these methods depends on your research questions and goals. Use quantitative methods when you need measurable, generalizable results, and use qualitative methods when you aim to explore and understand complex and nuanced phenomena. So understanding these differences also allow us to combine both approaches for a mixed method study, providing a comprehensive perspective. Let's now explore the methods and techniques used in exploratory studies, so which are fundamental to qualitative research. These techniques are designed to gain insights and a deeper understanding of complex phenomena. So we have direct methods that involve engaging directly with participants to collect data. These methods are open and transparent, making them highly effective for qualitative research, like focus groups or in-depth interviews. In the indirect methods, so they are more subtle and rely on participants revealing insight through less direct means. These techniques are particularly valuable when dealing with sensitive topics or when participants might not be fully aware of their own perceptions or attitude. So we have expression techniques, like when the participants are asked to express their thoughts or feelings, often through creative means like drawings or storytellings. We have also construction techniques, sentence completion or association techniques. So in this slide, we introduce the funnel technique for structuring interviews, which is a systemic and effective way to guide conversations during qualitative research. It ensures a natural flow while covering all key aspects of the topic. So we have overview of the funnel technique. So the funnel technique moves from broad to specific questions, helping participants feel comfortable while gradually diving deeper into the subject matter. This structured approach makes it easier to gather both general impressions and detailed insights. So here we have a thematic interview guide template. So this guide helps structure your nodes and coding categories, making it easier to analyze data systematically. Each axis can correspond to a major node with subnodes for specific teams or questions. So let's now discuss the thematic interview guide templates, structure framework I have developed for my research. This guide helps to systematically collect data from case stakeholders while ensuring all critical teams are explored. Now, let's talk about the tools that can be used during interviews. So to ensure effective data collection and documentation, these tools not only help in recording accurate responses, but also facilitate later analysis, especially when working with qualitative software like NVivo. So we have digital recorders. We can use smartphone apps, dedicated digital recorders, visual recording devices, camera. Now that we have discussed the tools for data collection during interviews, so let's move on the process of transcription. So a crucial step in qualitative research, transcription involves converting audio or video recordings into written text, making the data ready for analysis. So the importance of transcription, it serves as the bridge between raw data collection and structured analysis. So here we have, so the transcription of an interview is the process by which the verbal content of the interview is converted into written text. This is an essential step in qualitative research as it transforms audio or video data into a format that can be more easily analyzed. So you have to store the transcripts and original recordings in a secure location in accordance with ethical and legal data confidentiality standards. And now, so let's move to the software. So let me introduce you to the NVivo 12 Pro interface. So as you can see on the screen, this is the starting page of the software. On the left, we have a list of recent projects, which makes it easy to continue working on previously created files. Below that, there is an option to open other projects stored on your computer. So to start a new project, we use the section on the right labeled New. So here you can choose between blank project, which lets you create a completely new project from scratch, or a simple project, which contains preloaded data for learning and practice. So once you select blank project, a window opens where you need to input 3 key details. So you have the title. So this is the name of your project. Choose a title that clearly identifies the research focus, like focus group data. So you have here also a description. So here you can write a brief summary of the project, such as its goals or scope. For example, this project analyzes customer feedback from interviews. And you have also file name. So this determines where the projects will be saved on your computer. Use a logical naming convention to keep your files organized. And finally, there is an option to write user actions to the project event log. So this is useful for tracking any changes or activities within the project, especially if you are collaborating with a team. So once everything is filled in, click OK and the project will be created. So this step sets up the foundation for your data analysis workflow in NVivo. So now let's move to the process of importing a document into NVivo. So importing files is the first step in organizing your qualitative data for analysis. So here's how you can do it. So you click on Import tab at the top of the NVivo interface. This menu gives you access to various data import options. From here, select Files to import text documents PDFs or other file types stored on your computer. So once you click Files, browse through your computer directories, locate the file you want to import. So for example, an interview transcript or a focus group summary, and select it. So after importing, the document will appear in the files folder in the data section on the left-hand panel. So you can access it under the quick access menu or in the file section. To open the document, simply double-click it. So NVivo will load the file into a new tab for you to review and begin your analysis. So this process ensures that all your qualitative data is centralized within the NVivo workspace, making it easier to code and analyze. So remember, you can also organize your imported files into folders for better structure. So once you have imported your document, it will be sorted in the files folder under the data section in the left-hand panel of NVivo. So you can see the document listed with its name. Donc here we have an example interview with Charles. So now to work with the document, double-click on the file name in the files folder. So this will open the document in a new tab within the NVivo interface. So once the file is open, you can view its content as shown in the lower section. This is where you'll begin coding and analyzing the data. So each file you import will also display metadata like codes. This is the number of thematic codes applied to the document, and the references, it's the instance of coded text. So this structure helps you keep your data organized and track its analytical progress. So for example, as we proceed, we'll explore how to highlight meaningful sections and assign teams or categories for analysis. So now let's move to one of the core activities in NVivo is the coding content. So coding is the process of organizing and categorizing data into teams or topics, which are stored in a virtual container called a node. So here's how you can code your data. So open your document in NVivo like the interview shown here. Highlight the portion of the text that you find meaningful or relevant. For example, so in this case, Charles mentioned the pristineness of the water quality. So right-click on the highlighted text to open the context menu. From the menu, select Code. So this action allows you to assign the selected content to a node. So nodes act as categories where you collect all references or mentions of a specific theme across your data. So coding is an essential step in qualitative analysis because it helps you systematically organize data, making it easier to identify patterns and relationships across your data set. So in the coding window, click the New Code button located at the bottom left of the dialog box. A text field will appear where you can enter the name of the node. For example, if the content relates to environmental concerns, you might name the node water quality. And after naming the node, click OK to confirm. The new node will now appear in the list of nodes under the appropriate category. So you can revisit this node anytime to review or add more coded references. So after coding your content, it's important to visualize and review how the coding has been applied. So this is where coding strips come in, providing a clear view of which parts of your data have been coded and to which nodes. So here's how to view your coding. So go to Document Tools tab at the top of the NVivo interface. So click on Coding Strips. This will open a drop-down menu with several options. So select the option you want. For example, here we have recent coding. to see the latest codes applied to your document. So the coding strips will appear in the panel beside your documents. This feature allows you to quickly identify what has been coded and where. So ensure that all relevant content has been addressed. Once you have applied your coding and activated the coding strips, you can interact with them to review and refine your work. So now to explore all your coding, on the left-hand side of the NVivo interface, navigate to the notes section under the codes category. So select the specific node you are interested in, such as water quality, to view all references coded under this theme. So now let me walk you through how NVivo has been used in my own research to organize and analyze data effectively. So this screen shows the notes panel, which is the backbone of the thematic structure I used in my study on collective intelligence in the tourism sector. So as you can see, I have grouped the notes into main themes and subcategories to reflect different dimensions of my research. So at the top level, we have broad themes like perception of the concept of collective intelligence. We have here application of collective intelligence in the tourism sector. So these themes are broken down into more specific subnodes. For example, here we can find, under perception, I have categorized like proper perception, examples of collective intelligence in the tourism sector, the context of the emergence of collective intelligence. So this structure reflects both the breadth and depth of the concepts I've explored in my study. So now let's look at the data columns. So we have files here. So this shows how many data sources, such as interviews or documents, are linked to each node. So, for example, the node perception of the concept of collective intelligence is linked to 7 different files. Here we have references. So this indicates the numbers of times a specific theme is mentioned across all sources. So, for example, perception of the concept of collective intelligence has 28 references. So showing it's a central topic in my analysis. Now we move to creation and modification dates. So here, this helps track when each node was created or last updated, which is helpful when managing and involving analysis process. So this organization plays a crucial role in my research. So first, it allows me to systematically consolidate all the information related to a specific theme or idea. For instance, all participants' mentions about collective intelligence during crisis are now in one place. So second, it helped me compare insights across different sources and participants. For example, I can analyze how perceptions of collective intelligence vary between stakeholders in urban and rural tourism settings. And finally, it allows me to identify patterns and relationships within the data. For example, how collective intelligence was perceived as both strength and a challenge during the COVID-19 pandemic. So now let's take a closer look at the files panel in NVivo. So where the interviews from my study are organized. So this screen is a crucial part of the analysis process, as it displays all the data sources used in the project. So overview of the files panel. So here you can see the list of interview files that I imported into NVivo. So each interview is labeled according to its source, such as interview 1, interview 2, interview 3. So this labeling system helps me quickly identify each source and its contribution to the research. So by categorizing sources, I can compare perspective across different types of stakeholders in the tourism sector. Now, let's look at how NVivo enables us to engage with the data at a deeper level. So here we see the interface displaying the content of an interview. So interview 1. links to the theme of perception of the concept of collective intelligence. So let me explain how this view supports the analysis process. So this interface in NVivo provides several features that make it easier to analyze such rich qualitative data. So coding tools, you can apply codes directly to specific parts of the text. For example, phrases related to synergistic collaboration or environmentally respectful practices. So that can be tagged under corresponding notes. So let me demonstrate how NVivo allows us to run queries such as a word frequency query to identify patterns and k-themes within the data. So this feature is particularly useful for understanding the language used in the interviews and identifying recurring concepts. So on the right-hand side, we see the word frequency query results panel. So let me explain how it works. So the query research across files and external, meaning it examines all imported data sources. So we've set it to display 100 most frequent words with a minimum length of 4 characters to filter out common, less meaningful words like the or and. So running a word frequency query provides valuable insights. So it highlights the most commonly used terms in interviews. So below, we see the dialog box for selected projects items. So where we can find tune what the query analyzes. So you can see a list of the project structure, including folders like notes and files. By selecting specific notes such as the importance of collective intelligence during a crisis, we can limit the analysis to relevant teams. So advanced future for refinements, NVivo offers additional options for precision. If checked, NVivo will include all child nodes under the selected parent node, so ensuring no data is missed. Once I have finalized my selection, I can hit run query to generate results. So the query has analyzed the selected items, notes, or files and returned the most frequently used words with a minimum length of 5 characters. So the results are displayed in a table on the right-hand side. So words like collective, tourism, intelligence, and sector stand out as highly recurrent terms. The count column shows how many times each word appears in the data width. So collective mentions 2 times, tourism mentioned 24 times, so intelligence mentioned 23 times. So the weighted percentage column indicates the proportion of these words related to the total number of words in the data. So here we see the result of the word frequency query visualized as a word cloud in NVivo. So this tool provides a powerful way to represent the most frequently used words in the selected data, giving us an intuitive and immediate understanding of the key themes and concepts emerging from our research. So the word cloud visually highlights the most frequently occurring terms. So larger words indicate higher frequency, making it easy to spot key concepts. So in this case, words like collective, tourism, intelligence, and durable stand out prominently. So these terms align with the focus of my study on collective intelligence in the tourism sector. So showing how central these themes are in the data. So the word cloud serves multiple purposes. It provides a snapshot of the dominant themes in the selected nodes or data sources without diving into specific texts. So let's now explore the framework matrix tool in NVivo. This matrix helps systematically organize and analyze data. So here in the dialog box, we began setting up a new framework matrix. So here we have the name, the description, location, customizing rows and columns. So in rows, we assign interviewees or cases such as, so in my case, I have hotel managers, travel agents, or tourists. In columns, we add notes or themes like collaboration strategies, challenges during crisis, or opportunities. So the framework matrix provides a clear and structured way to compare perspective across different stakeholders. Each cell can contain summarized data, making it easier to identify key insights at a glance. So to display the matrix, you need to click on this button, then click on Auto Summarize. So it's here, Auto Summarize. The button is here. So the rows representing the sources or cases. So in this case, we have interview 1, and the columns representing the themes or notes, such as emergence in the tourism sector. So each cell contains summarized data or references that relate to both the row and the column. So this makes it easy to explore how individual participants address specific themes. So to display the matrix, here we see an advanced feature in NVivo. So on the bottom right, we see the word tree, which visually maps how the term intelligence collective is connected to other words in the data. So the root of the tree, intelligence and collective, branches out into phrases and contexts where it's mentioned. For example, branches may reveal connections like collaborative efforts, tourism innovation, COVID-19 crisis. So this tool helps reveal patterns, providing a clear sense of how participants perceive and describe collective intelligence in different contexts. Here we have a chart visualization in NVivo, so which is a fantastic way to represent and analyze coding distribution across data sources. So this specific chart shows the coding for the node sources. So this specific chart shows for example, proper perception, so across various interviews, providing valuable insights into which sources contribute most to this team. So the highest of each bar represents how much of the content in that specific interview has been coded under this team. For example, here we have interview 2 has the highest coverage at around 9%, indicating that this interview extensively discusses proper perception of collective intelligence. So this chart helps us answer several important questions like which sources focus most on a team, how evenly is the team distributed, and where to focus further analysis. So this chart is also helpful when we use NVivo in the case of a systemic literature review or thematic literature review. We can decide which papers are more relevant for our studies. So here we can see the concept map tools in NVivo designed to visually organize and represent relationships between concepts, themes, or ideas. This tool is useful for mapping out complex connections in qualitative research and enhancing the clarity of analysis. So a concept map is a diagram that represents relationships between different elements in your study. So it helps to illustrate how key concepts are linked. It provides a clear visual representation of themes and sub-themes. So to wrap up, this presentation has covered the key steps in conducting qualitative research with the help of NVivo. We talked about the importance of data collection, the tools to use, and how to structure interviews effectively. We also explored how transcription and coding in NVivo help organize and analyze your data to uncover deeper insights. The goal of qualitative research is to understand complex ideas and patterns, and NVivo makes this process much more manageable. So by following these steps, you can turn raw data into meaningful results that truly answer your research questions. So thank you so much for your attention, and I hope this session has equipped you with the tools and confidence to approach qualitative research effectively. So thank you so much.
Really, thank you so much, Professor Wijdane, Merioumi. You did really well, and session was really great and interesting, and people loved it because, like, I have seen some of the questions even from the WhatsApp as well. And one of our PhD scholar is from Italy. His name is Muhammad Abul Hassan. He even given a feedback about that he firstly heard about this tool, and he said that it's very much interesting. And he said that I found this tool very interesting and would like to more insights of such tool. Apart from feedback, any specific applications where else we could use it? I mean, I have numerical data. How could we utilize it on such data? Can you please answer this?
So I can see that we can use also this this software not only to manage qualitative. We use it to in qualitative studies, but we can also use it in literature review and systemic review. So we can manage the documents. We can see who's the authors that has more articles in a team or a study. So it can help us to classify the teams if we are working on a thematic literature review. So we can use the clouds to have a general idea of what teams are the most relevant in our study. So we can use it in a different studies, not only in this case.
I hope you did really well about questioning that specific answer. You was giving that answer in a very good way. I hope we are having no more questions. The time is very much short for us. And really, thank you so much, Professor, for giving us your precious time. And I hope we'll do organize some more sessions for you that some of the serious people will get benefit from you. And really, really thank you so much for your precious time. I hope that to see you on this platform very soon again as well. Really, really thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.